everyone, it's Arlene. In this video, I'm going to share a tutorial on how I created this anniversary card for my husband using Graphic 45's Place and Time paper collection. To start, I gathered some scraps from my supply, and I used the June cut-aparts and April cut-aparts, as well as a photo of my husband and I, some craft cardstock, and some white cardstock. I'm using the white 8.5 by 11 cardstock as the base of my card, and I'm going to cut it down lengthwise at 5.5 inches. Using a score pal, score the card down at 5.5 inches. This creates a 5.5 by 5.5 inch card. Create 2 panels with the craft cardstock, one for the front and one for the inside of the card. I'm going to be taking 2 designs from Place and Time, and I'm going to use those to layer onto the front of my card. First, I'm going to take a panel of white cardstock and layer that on top of the craft cardstock. And then I'll take the design paper and layer that on top of the white cardstock. So this creates a nice layer for the front of the card. I found some lace in my stash. I'm going to use that on my card. And here I'm just showing where I'm probably going to place it. The panels of the card are inked with white archival ink in Moonlight White. As an additional layer for my cards, I like to use doilies. Here I'm going to cut one in half and incorporate it onto the card. Here I'm showing you exactly how I'll be laying it down on the front panel of the card. I'm going to be using some craft cardstock and inking that up on the edges with the white archival ink. And that panel is going to be layered right on top of the craft cardstock. Now it's time to add the vintage lace onto the card. What I'm going to do is flip the card over and add some score tape, and I'm going to pull the lace and fold it back onto the score tape to hold it tight. The photo will then be layered onto some craft cardstock just to give it some stability on the card. The postage stamps from the Place and Time collection are fun to work with. I'm using a 1 16th inch hole punch to create the perforation around the postage stamp. I had this beautiful doily left over from a previous project. I'm going to cut out the center and incorporate it on the front of my card. I love these little cherubs from the June cut-aparts. I'm going to fussy cut those and use those on the card as well. I'll be doing a lot of layering on the front of the card, so I'm going to use score tape to adhere the panel to the base of the card. I'll be using a variety of beautiful I Am Roses flowers to embellish the front of the card, as well as other elements from the June cut-aparts. I took 2 panels of the design paper, which I'm going to be layering on craft cardstock for the inside of the card. I'll be using the Rose for Love sentiment from one of the Secret Garden stamp sets. Here's what the card looks like inside so far. I found a happy anniversary sentiment from my stamp collection. I'm going to go ahead and stamp that inside the card as well. I kept the inside really simple, but this is how it turned out. Now for a peek at the completed card. This card will be given to my husband in celebration of our 13-year wedding anniversary. This photo on the card was taken after our wedding ceremony in April of 2000. I really love how all the layers came out on the card. When you incorporate all of the different elements from the Graphic 45 papers, along with some flowers and lace from your stash, some doilies, and some other details to sort of layer onto the card, it just comes out really, really pretty. I added a dove from my stash. I really love how that came out. I also added some stamen with the bunches of flowers, and I love the metal clothespin by Graphic 45. It's perfect. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video tutorial. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. More pictures will be available on my blog and on the Graphic 45 blog, and those URLs will be available down below. Thanks for watching.